I'd give a quick tour of our backyard. So this is sort of standing towards the back. There's Kristoff's potatoes and our chicken coop that we built this year. And a couple years ago we built this storage shed. It's not very exciting, but it's really nice because it holds, for example, let's see here, it holds like our extra bikes and like lawnmowers and some camping equipment and stuff like that, gardening stuff. Basically things for the yard. So, and then we've got Annie's playhouse here. These are some bikes that all need some work or to be sold. So Annie's playhouse, which right now is set up as a restaurant, and we have got these back behind it are these red currant bushes, which I see the last bunch is to be harvested back there. Let's see here. There we go. You can see them back there. But these bushes, we have red, black, and white currants. It's really nice. And then this is our view, like into our yard from the back of it. It's pretty long. Here we've got our compost system, which is quite elaborate, but really necessary. We end up using all of our compost every year. I've got this old apple tree that is dying a vicious death and still trying to produce a few apples each year. Here's a plum tree that is loaded with plums. They're green still. You can sort of see. They'll turn purple in the next couple weeks, and we'll collect those. It's also dying, unfortunately. Kristoff built this beautiful little shack for me. On this side we store our firewood and some tools, and it's basically our privacy shack to keep our fire pit sort of private, so when we sit back here our neighbors from the back don't see what we're doing. This is my vegetable garden, which is of course full of weeds, but actually is in pretty good shape. And on this side I have all my garden tools. I actually love my little shack. I can sit out here if I want, and I have all my tools. Anyway, this is sort of, I call my garden. I've got carrots and onions and lots of herbs, kohlrabi and lettuce, beets, Swiss chards, and beans growing up over there. They don't get enough sun, unfortunately. And then I border it with nasturtiums to take the lice, the Blattläuse in German. That's our cherry tree. Also dying, all of the fruit trees here are dying, and our campfire ring. We just had Patenwoche here, which is a little camp that we do in the summer sometimes, and so we have a big tent there. We had 6 girls in there. It needs to come down today. This is the only apple tree that's actually not dying. It's doing super well because it's also fairly young, and it's going to give us some nice apples this year. And then we come to our new garden, our Corona garden here. You can see the chicken coop there in the back, and this is all new. In the past we just had like one little ring row along the back right now where the tomatoes are. So this is all new, and this fence used to be bordering a neighbor's property, but we never used it, so we moved it here so that we could use it a little bit better. It's very pretty, and my goal was to have it like climbing with beans and cucumbers, and the beans and cucumbers haven't cooperated, but it's still very pretty. So we are getting a lot of produce from here. If anybody needs a zucchini, let me know. We're about halfway down the garden at this point. So, and then if we keep going up, I have to duck under a badminton net. And this is sort of our lawn area, which, as you can see, Butch is enjoying. This is actually a hedge of roses. It's no longer rose season or blooming season, but in the spring it's really beautiful. This is a quince tree that I love. And we put this carport onto the back of our garage, and it works really well. It's a place for us to store our barbecue and our bikes and tables, or when we have a party, it becomes a pavilion. And I can also use it to hang laundry if it's sort of raining. And then back here we have our garage, which isn't anything spectacular, including a chair that Christoph's fixing right now. Just a little one-car garage that no cars in today's world actually fit into. This is the back of our house. We have what's called a double Haushälfte. So it's a half of a house, but we don't hear the neighbors at all, although they're really quiet. I don't know, maybe they hear us. And the patio that we put on using recycled materials. So when we moved here, this whole garden was full of huge bushes. You couldn't see it. And this patio was nothing. There was no patio. So it's really nice for us to have a place to sit and eat off of our kitchen. So that door right there is our kitchen door. And as you can sort of see, we just have this like really nice feeling here. It just feels really private. Of course our neighbors can see us if they're looking, but you definitely have this privacy feeling because of the way the hedge over there is so tall, and then the berry bushes in the back, and then all the roses and things on this side, and even this quince tree helps with that. And then finally, one last thing is our entrance into our garden. It's this very old, ugly plexiglass door, but works really well because we don't like people from the street being able to see in. Our first year here, I bought Christoph a grapevine, which has been a beautiful way. It's growing really gorgeously, and we have our strawberries back here. We also have some roses and some flowers there along the side of the house. And let's go out and I'll show you the front yard. You can see here the grapes really have taken over. So when we moved here, there was a big bush in there and there was nothing else, and none of this ivy. And this has been a really pretty addition, I think, to this house. So the house is not in great shape, but it's not ours. It's a rental house, so we don't really mind too much. So this is our house. And the front yard needs a little work right now probably, but I've made it into a wildflower garden, which is actually kind of past its blooming prime. So in the middle, in the spring, this was all wildflowers. It was really beautiful. And now the second crop is just getting ready to bloom. But in the back, there's lots of roses. And in the front, there's a bunch of perennials that are also, I think, pretty. It's a bit wild looking, especially for German standards. And then here we have lavender and roses and pretty perennials. And that's our front door. So that's our garden tour. I hope you have enjoyed it. And this is our house that we've lived in for 6 years. This sign was completely visible last year. It's sort of like a welcome sign that I made out of a piece of wood that we wanted to throw away. And we do love our house. It's very comfortable for us, but because it's a rental, we're always on the lookout for something that we can call our own and that we won't ever have to move away from. But we have invested a lot of time and money into this house and a lot of heart, and it's worth it. We love it. So there's our garden tour.